Hello guys, Fuzz here, and today we're continuing on with more Final Fantasy VIII, of course. And in the previous episode, we explored the mysteries of the Chocobo Forests. And if you want to check that out, please go and do so. We did get some nice rewards from it. And if you did do that episode, then before doing anything else today, make sure you head back to Shumi Village, because the Ultima draw point should have replenished. And as always, get your magic character stocked up with as much magic as possible so their stats as high as it can be. Mine for Rinoa is 140 when I use her magic stat. At the moment it's only 128, but you know, when I put all the plus percentages on there, it goes to 140. And I think I've got about 39 Ultimas now on Rinoa, which is pretty good actually. It's already at less than half stock, made it worth equipping Ultima. So, yeah, by all means, don't forget to do that. And today we're going to start off by doing some more optional content. And whether or not we'll get to proceed with the story, I'm not yet sure. But I do want to get through the optional stuff first. And the first thing we're going to do is pay a visit here to Winhill. I'm just going to stick an ability on Rinoa so that... Oh, right, okay. You might encounter like a UFO creature in the desert where the cactuars are, and around here where Winhill is. Even if you've got encounter non-equipped, you can just ignore that for the time being. It's a strange encounter, but we'll explore it a little bit later. It is a bit of a quest. But for now, we can just crack on with the other stuff that I want to do. So as always, if you enjoy these episodes, please remember just to hit that like button on YouTube, and I do, as always, appreciate your support. So let's explore Winhill, and just to show you where I am on the map, it's here. This is I think this is called the Galbadir continent. So it's not too hard to access the beach area down here, and then just bring the garden up to right next to the town actually. Look, there's the beach as well. So it's easy access. Okay, so we're going to enter Winhill from this side. If you enter from the other side, then you will have to run to the town. So if you don't see this screen when you come in, then you know you've entered from the wrong end. And the first thing we're going to do is enter this mansion. Make sure you have Quistis in your party, by the way, or we won't be able to trigger the scenes that we need to trigger here. And once we've entered this mansion, we're going to head up here, and there's a man just kind of chilling on the stairs. We're going to speak to him, and he tells us that his precious vase is missing, and it's been passed down through his family for many generations. Okay, so he wants us to, well, he hasn't actually told us much, but he's just told us his vase is missing, and he just wants us to look for the pieces. Next we're going to examine this statue here. Quistis being a little silly, and then we'll just walk away, and that will trigger another scene. And this time it really did move. Okay, so we have a vase piece. Next we're going to run out of here. Let's try the pub. So this is where Rain lived, if you remember, with her young daughter Elone back in the dream world that we controlled Laguna in. So we'll go and speak to the lady. And we have to keep talking to her until she gives us a clue. There's white flowers downstairs. Can we smell their fragrance? Well, let's head down and see what that's about, shall we? And when we examine this table over here, we see rain again. So we'll engage with rain, and in fact we get this pixelated cat. So not rain again. And now we're going to just examine the cat a few times until we get another vase piece. Right, so that's the second piece now. We make our way over to the next screen. And it's draw point if you want it. But, oh, we've got another little scene first. How exciting. That's the flower shop. We're going to be going in there in a moment. And we should be able to examine some flowers here. Yes, of course we like the flowers. And we'll examine them again. And there's the third vase piece. And one of these screens should have a chocobo. I don't think it's this way, but I will double check while we are here. Okay, here we go. So we have a chocobo running across the screen, and we can actually kick it to get the final vase piece, which is interesting, isn't it? So we'll pick that up. But we can actually kick it a couple more times for some more stuff. Here comes another item just floating down. And let's do it again. We get a Geishaw Greens. And this is actually a Phoenix Pinion. Although it's mislabelled as a Phoenix Down, which is interesting, but it is a Phoenix Pinion. So whether it's supposed to be one or the other, I'm not sure, but that's what it is. And we have all 4 pieces of the vase now. Which means we can head back to the quest giver for our awesome reward. Well, you know, maybe not the most awesome reward in the world, but at least we've got another quest done. Interestingly, you can actually play Triple Triad with quite a few of these townsfolk, but none of them have rare cards or anything, so I'll leave that up to you whether you want to do so while you're here in Winhill. So a Holy Stone is a reward for that quest. And that's all we need to do here in Winhill. But there's still a couple of bits that we can do in terms of optional stuff before we go ahead with the story. So our next destination is Timber, where we can collect a reward for helping the journalist earlier on. So if you didn't do that, then don't bother coming here. But I'll see you over there if you did. We can just chat to some of the townsfolk, but this is the guy that we really want to speak to. It's the one we helped earlier, or gave some advice when he didn't want to become a journalist. We encouraged him to do so. And he wants to thank us, so he gives us the extremely rare, and this is an extremely rare item, but also fairly useless, pet name tag. As far as I'm aware, outside of playing Chocobo World, this is the only one you can get in the entire game. So, it's certainly rare, I'll give you that. Next we're going to head over, there's no more items to collect here, but we're going to head over here, perhaps. And there's a girl playing on the tracks, and she falls over, so we go over and talk to her. And that will kick off a scene. And that's it. That is the entire point of coming here. Really to get the pet name tag, but that little scene is a nice little optional thing we can do whilst we are here in Timber. So there's no reward for that. And we are done. So we can leave the city here. And the next optional, and actually final optional thing I want to do is in the garden itself, which is speaking to the novice seed candidates as part of their quest. Although, just a heads up, you can have access to Dollet or Delling City if you want to visit those places, but I don't think there's anything I really want to do there, in all honesty. So I'm not going to go there myself, but you are free to do so. So back in the cafeteria, we can head over to the seeds that are sitting down. I'm not surprised they're novice seeds. All they do is just sit here and chill, isn't it? Like 24/7. It doesn't matter when you come into this cafeteria, these guys are always just sitting down, doing nothing, well, talking. But anyway, to advance this part of the quest, we just come once again and listen to them speak. And we can just talk to them until they stop giving us anything new. And that's about it. We are saved. And although that is the end of the optional content for now, the only other thing I want to mention to you before we move on is we haven't really spoke much about refining cards. So if you want, you can take this information and do some card farming, or you'll probably have a lot of these cards anyway. You'll want to make sure first of all that at least 3 of your characters now are fully equipped with Tornado onto their strength stat. There's really no reason not to have 3 people with 100 Tornado, since it's so easy to get. But for new stuff, you can refine Renoa's card if you're not using it, and it is pretty rubbish, into 3 magic armlets, which are good for sticking that onto GFs. Carbuncle's card refines into glow curtains, which give you a total of 300 reflect magic, and reflect magic is also good for junctioning, so I do recommend, if you're not using Carbuncle's card, that you do go ahead and refine it. Remember, all the rare cards that you refine now, you can get them again later if you're doing or have done the CC group quest, which I have shown you how to do that. So you're not losing these cards permanently, and in fact you can farm them later on. So you can farm a rare card, refine it, get it again as many times as you want. Irvine's card, you can refine that into 3 rocket engines, which you can refine further using the time magic refinement into triples, 150 triples to be precise. So also very useful. The Gilgamesh card, which we got from the CC group quest, that can refine down into 10 Holy Wars. Tiamat cards, which are level 7 cards, you can get them from the CC group members. Each one refines into 10 flare stones, which using fire magic refinement goes into 10 flares. Flares are also a good junctioning magic. Red giant cards turn into meteor stones, which we can't do anything with at the minute, but it does cast a powerful spell if you want to use it in battle. And Ultima weapon card. Both of those, by the way, also come from the group, the CC group, and that Ultima weapon card turns into an Ultima stone. Ifrit, that goes into, will refine to 3 elemental attacks. I wouldn't bother with that in all honesty, though most of your characters should have that anyway. Quetzalcoatl, if you refine Quetzalcoatl down into Dynamo stones and then using the Thunder magic refinements, you can turn it into Thundergars. And you can actually get 2,000 Thundergars from 1 Quetzalcoatl card. So you know that will certainly max out all your characters with Thundergar magics. And anything else that you might be interested in, imp cards, you can turn into wizard stones, which turn into all sorts of different magics depending on what you use. Blobber cards turn into rune armlets, which can go down into shells. And if you want protects, then you'll want turtle shells, which you can refine from the XA TMO92 cards. You need 2 of those. So, you know, there's lots of refinement for you to do there. But the glow curtains from Carbuncle, I mentioned going to 300 reflects because you get 3. And that's certainly useful. But you could also just use the glow curtains themselves to teach speed plus 40% to your Guardian Forces. So, you know, Holy War items, you get 10 of those, I said, from the Gilgamesh card. So they're very, very powerful items. The Holy War, once you cast it, actually puts your entire party into invincible status, so that you cannot lose the battle that you use it on. Interesting item, for sure. So yeah, don't forget you can also farm AP from those cactuars that I showed you a couple of episodes ago. Although I still recommend you wait on that because we do have another Guardian Force we're about to add to our collection, so we may as well get AP on that as well, rather than getting it all now. But that's it for the optional stuff. So it looks like we might have time to do a bit more of the story. I'll tell you what, I'll finish here because I don't know how long the next story section is going to go on for, so we may as well start it from a fresh episode. Which means I'm going to say goodbye to you now, guys. And next time we're going to get a brand new GF to add to our collection and actually proceed, as I say, with more story. So we've done the optional content. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button if this has been helpful to you. I hope that it has. And I'll see you next time for more Final Fantasy VIII.